Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. I make a very serious claim in this video, guys. I make a claim that I do not believe that Bitcoin will go below 24.5K for the rest of this year. I don't believe it. In fact, I actually don't believe we'll go below 24.5K for any extended period of time for the rest of the cycle, most likely. Of course, that's a little bit harder to say, but certainly for the rest of the year. In fact, I believe the Bitcoin medium term and long term is actually extremely bullish right now. Although we're in a short-term downwards trend, the downwards trend is a descending channel formation. Guys, I'm going to be showing you the bearish argument as well. I know you think, oh, Wolf, you're being too bullish here. Well, let me tell you something. I'm showing you a bearish argument that not many people have shown you in this video. A head and shoulders formation on the logarithmic chart. You can't call me a permabull when I'm showing you unique bearish information. But in the same vein, I'm going to be telling you why I don't exactly think it's too strong. I'm going to be showing you why I think the bullish argument is strong. I'm going to be showing you why the same lines we're looking at for the bearish targets are the same lines we're looking at for the bullish targets, and why it doesn't actually matter what the formation is itself. It's a little bit complicated to discuss without the chart. I'll show you the charts in just a second here. But the last thing I want to say, guys, is this video will show you everything I'm looking at and every reason I'm looking at for why I'm not too concerned about Bitcoin right now on medium-term and long-term basis. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what charts are we going to be looking at today? I briefly explained it in the introduction. I'm going to explain it again. I'm going to be looking into the descending channel formation on the Bitcoin daily chart. I'm going to be looking into the daily chart RSI. I'm going to be looking into the bull market support band on the daily chart. What all of this shows us in terms of Bitcoin not actually being as bearish as people think on the medium-term time frame. Yes, it's in a downwards trend, but overall it's a bullish structure. I'm going to be looking, of course, into short-term 4-hourly chart. Then I'm going to be looking into this chart here with the logarithmic macro uptrending support line, which is basically one of the most important charts on Bitcoin right now, including the 3-day RSI. But ultimately, there is an interesting thing that I want to discuss with this chart in regards to it being a potential, and this is a potential, and I will be confirming whether this is true or not, a potential head and shoulders pattern. Now, this is kind of that hidden bearish structure that I was talking about in the intro there. So I'm going to be discussing that. Is that a sign for Bitcoin to actually break down and go downwards for a last actual correction? We'll be looking into that in this video as well. That's the first topic, actually. I don't want to make you wait for it. And then we've got, of course, the range-based kind of analysis for Bitcoin, looking into the 3 decisive Bitcoin ranges that we've been seeing on this move upwards and also during the bear market, as well as the Gaussian channel on the weekly chart and how important that is in regards to the range-based analysis. So before we get into any of that, guys, Bitget Exchange, 5 times lower fees than Binance, non-KYC or optional KYC from anywhere in the world, including the United States of America. Very, very low fees, copy tradings on the exchange. You got bots on this exchange. You got everything you need on an exchange, reserves, funds, etc. Protection funds released. My sign-up link is in the description below for a 15% trading fee discount. Go ahead and sign up there. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, so let's start out by looking at we'll start out with a range-based analysis for Bitcoin, because this is going to give us context for the entire video. So range-based analysis for Bitcoin shows us that we have 3 decisive Bitcoin ranges. I've color-coded these ranges quite well. I've also given these kind of notes here, bullish and bearish, because above the yellow range, we're bullish, we're back in the bull market playground that we were in before, and below the red range, we're bearish, we're back into price discovery mode for downside that we haven't seen for a few years since the last bear market. So what are the ranges? Well, the ranges are quite clearly 15.4K, which is the low, to around 18.5K, where we were topping out from this range and below. That is kind of the ultra bearish range. That's where we saw the bottom. That's actually the bottoming out range. We then have this orange range here, which is kind of the consolidation range we saw during the bear market, which topped out at around 24.5K on weekly candles and bottomed out at around 18.3K. All right, so that's the middle range. It's kind of like the bearish range, but it's not too bearish. It's kind of a sideways range. And then finally, we're in the range right now, which I would call kind of no man's land to a certain extent. This is basically the range we're in right now between 24.5K and 32K. And by the way, 32K is constituted by basically the zones in which we bounced during the bull market and also the zones in which we're ejecting from now. So 32K is really the major level on the weekly chart. And the reason why 32K is important is because, as I said, it's the region we bounced off of during the bull market for support. We bounced. Okay, we eventually lost it, and then we went downwards massively. So 32K is very important. And if we break above 32K, we're kind of out of this range. We're into the next range. By that point, we're so far out of trouble of going to new lows that we don't even need to think about it anymore. So right now, we're kind of in the last step. We're in the last kind of real step of exiting the bear market. Now, I believe we've been out of the bear market for a long period of time. I've been saying over and over again for months. In fact, I was saying by the end of fucking November that we're out of the bear market, right? I've got average buying prices on Bitcoin around 19k. I bought at 18k my first buy, my second buy 21k. So, I've been saying we're out of the bear market for a long time, but in terms of chart confirmation is very different to opinions. Now, I believe that we're also confirmed in the charts to be out of the bear market, but in terms of range-based analysis, this would be like the real proper step to be getting out of it properly because of the fact that this region at 32k was used as support during the bull market. Therefore, if we get back above 32k, it's obvious we're back in the bull market playground. That doesn't mean we're back in a bull market. It means we're back in the level of which we saw the bull market, which would obviously mean decisively that we're out of the bear market properly. So yeah, we're kind of on the edge of breaking like fully out of the bear market. And look, as I said, I already believe we are out of it. I believe that for like many months, but I'm just saying in terms of chart confirmation, yeah, we've seen moving average confirmation. Yeah, we've seen diagonal line confirmation, but this is probably the range-based confirmation that we need. So breaking above 32k is very important, and I believe we'll see that. We've been ranging sideways in this yellow range for about 4.5 months, almost more than that, almost 5 months now. In fact, probably 5 months now. So it's been a long period of time, and we're bound to break out eventually, and I think that will be soon. And I'm going to actually push back this weekly chart and this kind of bearish analysis here with the head and shoulders pattern. I'm going to look at that last, I believe, but it is a very important topic, and it's something I haven't discussed before. But I'm going to look into the other things first, speaking on the bullish note. So, we know we're in a good position, and this red zone here on this chart, this daily chart, is this one here, this red zone here, is 32k. That's kind of the one we need to get above, right? So that, just for reference, that is the top of the yellow range. This red line here is the top of the yellow range, 32k. I believe that Bitcoin's in a pretty good position right now. Yes, people are saying, oh, Bitcoin's double topped, they're saying things like that. We're going to go downwards to 24.5k. They're saying pretty bearish things about Bitcoin. But overall, I mean, you can't really deny the structure we're in. Overall, what we've done really is we've rejected, we've come down, we've bounced, we've seen a resistance support flip, because that's all this was, right? That rejection here was normal, and we saw a resistance support flip. That's very, very bullish. We've come upwards, and we've rejected briefly here, but overall, we still have a very, very strong opportunity but to form a higher low at any region between where we are now at 28k and 24.5k. So we've got a lot of room to go downwards if we need to. So I'm not concerned about downside at all. If we go downwards, provided we don't go all the way down to this green box, we're still forming a higher low, we're still maintaining the upwards trend. I'm not worried about Bitcoin in that regard. I don't think Bitcoin's in a pressing situation right now. And I think a lot of, people are trying to, I hate to say what a lot of people are doing, but it's just what I do, right? I think a lot of people are trying to act like Bitcoin's in a pressing situation right now. It's not. When it's down here at 24.5k, you can start saying that. Right now, it's really not. When it's up here at 32k, you can start saying that. Right now, it's really not. Bitcoin's actually in a very comfortable position right now. It's lodged very nicely into a descending channel formation, which is a very bullish structure. And it's lodged right next to a bull market support band, which is what has bounced off on multiple occasions on this move upwards. You got to think about this, guys. When did Bitcoin find the lows during its corrections on this move upwards? Well, first and foremost, it broke upwards, okay? It found its first major correction here. We corrected massively over here. We bounced off the bull market support band. It found its second major correction here. Where did it bounce off? It bounced off the bull market support band. Yes, we went below it. We only went below it for 2 daily candle closes, guys. And we didn't close weekly below it. We bounced off the bull market support band again. And what do we have for support right now? We have the bull market support band for support. So right now, you got to understand the situation for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still in a bullish uptrend. Even on medium term, it's in a bullish uptrend. It's still got this lower high that's forming right now, and it still hasn't broken bull market support band yet, and it's in a bullish descending channel structure. I don't think that Bitcoin is bearish at all in the medium term time frame right now. I just don't. And I don't need to look at short-term time frame at this point in time to dig into that deep, because I understand what the overall macro structure is. I understand that the short-term time frame isn't going to help us analyze the Bitcoin chart in any fashion. What I do know is this: Bitcoin, realistically, could go downwards further. It could. It certainly could go downwards further, because what we are in is a downwards trend. We're in a downwards trend, but it's a bullish downwards trend, because it will eventually break to the upside. I do not believe that we will see downwards price action on Bitcoin for much longer. All right, I believe probably maybe a week max. Right, I think that the consolidation is coming to an end in the sense that everything is compressing, everything is really riling up here. Bollinger Band is compressed on the daily chart, also on the weekly chart, also on the monthly chart. It's not surprising to me that we're going to be seeing a move on Bitcoin soon. We're also compressing quite tightly against bull market support band. The real question is not whether we whether we get compressed for longer. I think the compression is almost over, and I will, look into this in a second as well on the other chart. I think the question is, do we go up or down? And that's the real question we're going to try and answer. Now, I believe upwards is more likely because obviously we're in a descending channel formation, and I believe downwards would not be ideal. But I don't necessarily think that downwards would be detrimental because look where we are right now, right? It depends how far downwards you mean, basically, is my overarching point. Because look where we are. Okay, we've got an uptrending support line on the 3-day logarithmic chart. Now, 3 days, just a round example, it's actually every logarithmic chart, but I'm using 3-day for the sake of analysis here to make it for clarity. So, uptrending yellow support line. What have we done in the past? Okay, look at the past. Look back here in December 2011. What did we form? Uptrending logarithmic support line held for a long period of time. Okay, same thing formed over here after the bear market. 2016, uptrending logarithmic support line. It lasted for years on end. Same thing during 2019 and 2020. Uptrending logarithmic support line. It lasted all the way through to COVID. Okay, and we're forming the exact same thing right now. We have an uptrending logarithmic support line. It's not unusual for Bitcoin to form uptrending logarithmic support lines, especially after the bear market low. In fact, it's what we've done on every single cyclical occasion. So doing it again is not a surprise at all. As long as we are holding this uptrending logarithmic support line, Bitcoin is not even in a slight period of danger at all on the medium-term time frame or the long-term time frame. In fact, Bitcoin is still in a very sharp upwards trend. Now, this logarithmic uptrending support line is compressing against a logarithmic downtrending support line, which is this dotted yellow line here that has been tested on multiple occasions from upside and downside. Now, these two lines come together and they form an apex at the end of this month, around the 1st of September. Therefore, sometime between now and the 1st of September, we will be seeing a break upwards or downwards from these logarithmic lines on Bitcoin. Therefore, the compression is coming to an end very, very shortly, and the month of August will be the month in which a directional move, whether it be upwards, okay, or whether it be downwards, will be triggered on Bitcoin. I'll say that again. The month of August will be the month in which a directional move, whether it be upwards, whether it be downwards, will be triggered on Bitcoin. Now, I've had some people saying, and this is a chart that you need to watch out for to a certain extent, okay? I've had some people saying that Bitcoin is in a bearish head and shoulders candlestick formation, okay? Now, this is not particularly wrong. What we have on Bitcoin is very truly a head and shoulders pattern. We have an inclining head and shoulders pattern. And again, I've said it multiple times in this video. I'll say it again. Not many people seem to be talking about this. To everyone who thinks I'm a perma bull, to everyone who thinks I'm too bullish, I'm literally pointing out to you a structure that I don't think many people have spoken about at all. I think the Bitcoin on the logarithmic chart is forming a head and shoulders candlestick formation. We've got the left shoulder here. We've got the right, the head right here. We've got the right shoulder here. Now, the problem with this formation, all right, is with a head and shoulders formation, okay, you're generally going to break to the downside. You're generally going to see a measured move from top of the head to the neckline. So you've got a breakdown target on this candlestick formation of around 19K. All right, so realistically, you could say Bitcoin's targeting 19K. Now, here's why I'm not fully convinced in this formation being real. We're on the logarithmic chart. That's simply why. We're on the logarithmic chart on Bitcoin. Go to the linear chart, and all of a sudden, you don't really have a proper neckline for this formation. You have the neckline, and it wasn't actually fully tested at all on this the second part of the head. Therefore, the entire formation is irrelevant, and the entire formation doesn't exist, because in order to have a head and shoulders, you need to have the neckline retested on the start of the head and on the bottom of the head as well. Therefore, this formation is actually invalid on the linear chart and only valid on logarithmic, which makes me have the doubts about the validity of the formation in general. I will also point to you the fact that the formation doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And the reason it's irrelevant is because, guys, we know already that if we break down from this line, we're bearish. We don't need the head and formations to tell us, the head and shoulder formation to tell us that. Let me say that again. We already know that breaking down from this line is bearish. We don't need the head and shoulder formation to tell us that. So it's actually irrelevant what the formation is. What matters is whether we break down from the line or not. And the fact of the matter is, you could say, oh, but the formation's indicating that we will break down from the line, and then it goes back to the problem I just brought up. Formations on candlesticks, formations on charting patterns, generally speaking, are only valid on linear market patterns, linear charts, okay? We don't have this formation on the linear chart. We only have it on the logarithmic chart. So it adds a degree of what is the word? I don't know, skepticalness to the formation. And hence, I'm not I'm not required to take it as seriously as I would before. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but Wolf, why are you taking this line so seriously if it's logarithmic, if you're not taking the head and shoulders formation seriously? It's not that I'm not taking it seriously, it's that I'm not 100%. Look, here's the thing, right? As I said, it doesn't matter what the formation is. What matters is if we break the line or not. We're going to know that by the end of August. That's a simple fact, so why do I need to care too much? My reaction's going to be the same regardless, isn't it? If we break down from the line, I'm going to de-risk. Doesn't matter if it's a head and shoulder formation. Doesn't matter if it's a linear line. Doesn't matter if it's a logarithmic line. If we break down from the line, I'm going to de-risk. Doesn't matter what formation it is. But overall, why am I taking the logarithmic line seriously and not taking the head and shoulder seriously? Because we've seen the logarithmic line form before at the same part of a cycle before. You guys know I'm a believer in cyclical trends. You guys know I believe in cyclical theory. I believe that the cycle was repeat on Bitcoin. If we're seeing, after the bottom, on 1, 2, 3, 4 separate occasions, the same line forming over and over again, I'm going to start taking it seriously. What we don't see is supposed head and shoulders formations form on these lines over and over again. We don't see that. We're seeing that for the first time. There's no trend around it. There's no cyclical trend. I take cyclical trends seriously. This is not a cyclical trend. So although I'm willing to point out the fact that we do have a potential head and shoulders formation here, I'm not willing to take it too seriously. I will understand if we do break down from the line, then I will take it seriously. Then I will perhaps take the measured move into account. But as of right now, it's not really a big concern of mine. But I wanted to point that out just to help you guys understand that there is a bearish argument. And I want to move further into that bearish argument, actually. I want to actually take the idea. I want to actually take the possibility that we break down from this line and show you what that would look like. So say we do break down from this yellow line. It's definitely a possibility. It's not impossible, right? It's not impossible. And if we do it, we're not back into bloody 18K, 15K. That's not what's happening. If we break down from this line, we've actually got some very reasonable types of a downside. You have to remember, guys, okay, I've already showed you this, but you have to remember, the range-based analysis is quite clear. Okay, we have the top of the previous range on Bitcoin, okay, at around, I'm just going to draw a rough box of where it is. It's around 24.5K. That is the bottom of the range we're in right now. That is the bottom of the yellow range. I've drawn it into this chart, 24.5K. If we break below this logarithmic uptrending line, we don't even break below that line. So again, if we break below this logarithmic uptrending line, if the head and shoulders formation is real and everything's real and we're going down on Bitcoin, we wouldn't have even broken down below the current range we're in yet. Okay, we would still have that range-based support. We wouldn't even be in the orange range yet. So the breakdown on an immediate basis is not threatening because we'd still actually be in the same range that we're in. So on a macro scale, not really too much would change from a range-based analysis. The threat of breaking down from the range would be more real though. But here's the thing. We have a Gaussian channel, okay, on the weekly chart. And you guys probably know what I'm about to say right here. I'm going to delete everything and show you. Where was the bottom of the range in yellow? It was at 24.5K. Let's draw a line in there. 24.5K, we'll make it pink so you can see it. Where is the center line of the Gaussian channel right now? The center line of the Gaussian channel is at 24.5K exactly. It's been there for months. Okay, so right now, the center line of the Gaussian channel is at 24.5K. Now, what many people don't know is we have a trend on the Gaussian channel, and the trend is very simple. The trend on the weekly chart with the Gaussian channel is once we break the center line of the Gaussian channel, we continue in the direction of which we broke it. We broke the center line here, we continued in that direction. We broke the center line here, we continued in that direction. It happens over and over again. Break the center line, you continue in that direction. Over and over again. It has never, ever failed, okay? This is very important. It's never failed. We have seen this. Look how many times we've seen this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is the 8th time. Guys, we have broken the center line of the Gaussian channel. We hold it for support for 2 months. We moved up above the Gaussian channel. We have never once in Bitcoin's entire price history, once we have moved above the Gaussian channel, have we returned back below the center line immediately without seeing a significant move to the upside. Therefore, even if we break this logarithmic line to the downside and move downwards on Bitcoin, start moving downwards rapidly, the chances are is that the Gaussian channel center line will save us from dropping further, and that would happen to be above 24.5K, which means the chances are, even if we break this line to the downside, we wouldn't actually drop below the current range we're in on Bitcoin, which means it would just be a delay and it would not be a bearish reversal. Guys, what else do I need to say to convince you that Bitcoin is in a comfortable position right now. I'm not saying it's destined to go up. I'm not saying any of this. I'm just saying, even if it fucking goes down, it's not even in a bad position at all. In fact, it's very, very comfortable. There's a lot of support in terms of Gaussian channel, in terms of the same range. Even if we drop below the current price level, we'd still be in the same range. In terms of the fact, yeah, there is a head and shoulders pattern that's potentially forming on logarithmic, but it's not valid on linear, and we're looking at the same line regardless, so it doesn't really matter if it's a head and shoulders or not. The fact of the matter is the same line is relevant regardless. I've got, compression in August. All of the indicators seem to be pointing at this point in time that even if we go downwards, we will go upwards eventually. And all of the indicators seem to be pointing at this point in time that going upwards is probably more likely. Guys, the fact of the matter is, Bitcoin is in a great position. And if you want to accept that, cool. If you don't want to accept that, I don't really care. That's the reality, all right? And we can go downwards, as I said, we certainly can. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really see, and this might come back to bite me in the future. I don't really care. I say what I want on this channel. And look, I'm happy to change my opinions. I change my opinions all the time. And that's why I'm happy to say what I want, because I'm adaptable. And you're meant to be able to adapt in this market. As a trader, you need to adapt. So if I become, if the evidence starts indicating against this, I will change my opinion. That's not flip-flopping, that's adapting. The fact of the matter is, I do not really see a very likely scenario at all that Bitcoin goes back below 24.5k for any real extended period of time. Maybe eventually, but not in this year. I just don't see it. Maybe in 2024, I don't know. Who knows, right? But as of this year in 2023, I don't see a scenario in which Bitcoin goes back below 24.5k for any extended period of time. I just don't. It doesn't seem to line up on the charts. It doesn't seem to line up with what we've seen historically. I just showed you, just based on the Gaussian channel trend, based on 8 data points throughout the entire price history of Bitcoin, you could say what I just said. So it's not, really an opinion. It's just kind of a reality based on trends. Based on the Gaussian channel trend that has existed throughout the entire price history of Bitcoin, literally since 2011, based on that trend, okay? Which has never, ever, ever failed. We would not go below 24.5k. So how is it, of course I'm going to say that. Of course I'm gonna put my opinions out there, my opinions that are backed on trends that have lasted on Bitcoin throughout the entire price history. Of course I'm gonna say that. So I don't know, maybe it's a bold claim, maybe some people would see it as bold, but that's just the reality, and that's based on the trends that I see in the charts. So guys, what do we need to do for Bitcoin right now? We just need to wait, really. I mean, August is going to be big. There's going to be a directional move in August. It might not be big percentage-wise. There's always a difference between something being big percentage-wise and something being big directionally. It might just be the start of a directional move. We might see the percentage moves in September or something like that. But overall, I do think that August will be big from a directional standpoint, and I don't think that Bitcoin is in a particularly threatening situation on a macro situation at all. So yeah, that's my opinion on Bitcoin. We're going to be looking into it more, obviously, as the price chart develops. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Check out the Crypto Academy. This is a course in which you can learn how to trade, learn how to analyze charts. It's called the Become a Trader 10-unit course, and the reason why it's called Become a Trader is because it teaches you how to become a trader. It's quite simple, right? All the information is on the website. You can throw us an email. The email address is on the website as well. And finally, guys, the VIP group, we have a 79% win rate. I'll say that again. We have a 79% win rate on the VIP group. What is that? It means 4 out of every 5 trades are profitable. 4 out of every 5 trades are profitable in the VIP group. That is absolutely exceptional. Check out the VIP group. It's in the description below. The information group being, that's the information group in the description below. You can check out the information group. Check out the results. I've actually released a document for all the results. Check out the information, the prices, etc. And you can join from there. Guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.